I am Will Scott. We have some breaking news in the NFL this morning. Matt Rhule has been fired by the Carolina Panthers after a 1-4 start to the 2022 season. Adam Schefter confirming the news. Panthers fired head coach Matt Rhule, who had gone 11-27 during his 3 seasons in Carolina. Rhule leaves Carolina with 4 years left on his 7-year contract he received from Panthers owner David Tepper in January 2020. Ian Rappaport telling us who the interim head coach is going to be. That's going to be Steve Wilks, the defensive pass game coordinator and the secondary coach. Wilks was the head coach in Arizona for 1 season before they hired Cliff Kingsbury, so some head coaching experience for the guy taking over in Carolina. And later today, we're going to get you guys a Carolina Panthers hot board. So we're going to rank the top 10 candidates, 10 through 1, in terms of who the Panthers need to be looking at here. And look, David Tepper, his first hire in Matt Rhule, was disastrous. He has to get this hire right. So we're going to tell you who the Carolina Panthers are likely to target. Might have a college coach or two on that list. Definitely going to have some coordinators as well. Go down, subscribe to the channel because we're getting you guys that video later today. But this video going to be all about NFL injury news. A lot of injuries around the league yesterday. We're going to talk about each and every single one of really the big-name players that got hurt. The first one being Baker Mayfield, whose head coach has now been fired. He was seen wearing a walking boot on his left foot after yesterday's game. We saw P.J. Walker get some reps after Baker exited the game. Ian Rappaport said this morning, though. Panthers quarterback Baker Mayfield had x-rays on his foot following the game, and they were negative. He'll have an MRI today to determine the extent of the injury after leaving yesterday in a walking boot. So Ian Rappaport with a positive update because those x-rays were negative, and then we'll learn more information today. So we'll continue to keep you posted on Baker Mayfield's status. But Steve Wilks will have a decision to make if Baker is not healthy or if he continues to struggle because Sam Darnold nearing a return and P.J. Walker is also in that QB room. Talking about the Dolphins quarterback situation now. Teddy Bridgewater left the game yesterday on the first play with what the team called a head and elbow injury. He passed a concussion check. He didn't have a concussion apparently. However, the new protocol rules did not allow him to return. You had an independent spotter who said Teddy Bridgewater stumbled. Personally, I did not see that stumble. At least CBS did not show it, so it's possible he did stumble. And so those new protocol rules did not allow him to return to the game. Skylar Thompson finished the game at quarterback for the Finns, the 7th-round pick out of Kansas State. Ian Rappaport said this yesterday, I should say. Dolphins QB Teddy Bridgewater was ruled out due to the concussion protocol, to be specific. He passed the test administered by doctors, but due to the new adjustments to the protocol and based on what the spotter saw, he was ruled out. Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald followed with this. Mike McDaniel, head coach, said Bridgewater has no concussion symptoms, but a spotter saw him stumble, so he immediately enters concussion protocol and ruled out because of yesterday's rule change. Unfortunate coincidence that this happens to Dolphins. Intended rule opens up a can of worms. So I definitely agree with that. This new rule is going to become very controversial if, let's say, this were to happen to a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady. So who's going to be the new starting quarterback this week for the Miami Dolphins? There's a lot of options here going forward. If Teddy's cleared, if Tua's healthy, or if none of those things happen, then Skylar Thompson would likely start against the Vikings. Huge game for the Finns on Sunday. So who do you think is going to start? Type Tua or type Teddy or type Sky down in the comment section. The injury bug is hitting a team that was once 3-0 that is now 3-2 because Tyreek Hill left the game yesterday against the Jets and did not return. He was seen in a walking boot after the game. So that is certainly a situation to monitor here. Tyreek a little bit banged up, as well as Terron Armstead. He was questionable for the Dolphins' last 3 games due to a toe injury, and he left the game yesterday and did not return against the Jets with the toe injury. And that Dolphins' offensive line was abysmal. Yes, you can say Skylar Thompson wasn't good, but in his defense, the offensive line was abysmal yesterday. Greg Little and Liam Eichenberger an issue. Talking about the Saints now, Chris Olave was ruled out of the game yesterday against the Seahawks with a really nasty concussion. If you saw the video, and it was brutal to watch the video. I mean, he was knocked out cold with the concussion yesterday against Seahawks, did not return. It's a shame because he's having a fantastic rookie season. He's definitely in the conversation for NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year. 25 receptions, nearly 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. So hopefully Olave is healthy and gets back soon, but that looked to be a pretty serious concussion he suffered yesterday against Seattle. Guys, you can go bet on the NFL all season long at BetUS. And if you go to chatsports.com/bet and use promo code NFL Daily, you're going to get a 125% deposit bonus. That means if you put $100 in, you're going to get $125 additional cash to bet with. Great deal. Go and take advantage. A lot of good games to bet on this weekend and a big Monday Night Football game tonight, Chiefs and Raiders. Chatsports.com/bet. Talking about Rashaad Penny now, that injury. He suffered a fractured tibia yesterday against the Saints. He'll have tests on Monday, today, to see if surgery is necessary. Pete Carroll, after the game, calling it a serious ankle injury. So a potential I should say a season-ending injury for Penny, it sounds like. Here is what he did. Here's what he's done this season. He's had a pretty good year. I mean, you look at the stat that stands out there. That's 6.1 yards per carry, 346 yards, 2 touchdowns on 57 carries for Penny. Do you think he's going to play again this season after what appears to be, at this point, a serious ankle injury? And we'll probably find out today if surgery is necessary or not. Type P for play or type W for won't. Will Rashaad Penny play again this season? Talking about the running back situation in general, you got Kenneth Walker's RB2, so it might be Kenneth Walker's season over there in Seattle. Talking about T. Higgins now, he did not return with an ankle injury that he suffered last night. He played through a sprained ankle against the Dolphins, and then the Bengals said he was healthy for this week, but he re-aggravated the ankle last night. Here's what he said about the injury. I don't want to rush anything and force myself out there and get hurt worse and be out for the season. We just played it safe, and I'll be back for the rest of the games, nothing major. So T. Higgins confident that it's not a major injury that he has suffered with the ankle. Definitely wanted to provide an update on Savion Smith. He got hurt yesterday against the Patriots, Lions player, and collapsed on the field. He was taken off in an ambulance. Here is the latest on him. The team said it was a neck injury. It happened on the first play of the Lions' defensive series. Again, he was taken off the field in an ambulance after collapsing. So pretty serious, and we certainly hope that Smith is okay as we continue to monitor the latest on Savion Smith. Denzel Ward, meanwhile, suffered a concussion and was ruled out against the Chargers. So a lot of concussions, it feels like, around the league the last couple of weeks. Marcus Williams, though, suffered a dislocated wrist last night. John Harbaugh said Williams will be out a significant amount of time. So that's a brutal blow. I mean, you're talking about one of the best DBs in the league, at least one of the best safeties in the league, and he signed a 5-year, $70 million contract in the offseason with the Ravens, so he's in the first year of that deal. He's been playing great, but John Harbaugh is saying he's going to be out a significant amount of time. NFL Network, meanwhile, reporting that he's likely to head to IR, so he's going to miss at least 4 games, Marcus Williams, for the Ravens. Big win last night for Baltimore, but they lose their star player on defense. The latest on Russell Wilson, meanwhile, he had a procedure done the other day to kind of alleviate some pain in his shoulder. He underwent that procedure in Los Angeles. It was a platelet-rich plasma injection, I guess is the official name for that. It was underwent on Friday and hopes to relieve some shoulder discomfort. He is not expected to miss any game. So I don't think a lot of us, watch Russ and we think he's washed, but maybe he just wasn't playing well because the shoulder was in a lot of pain. Here's what he's done this season. Under a 60% completion percentage, over 1,200 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks this season for Russell Wilson. They've been letting Russ cook. However, the kitchen has been on fire over there in Denver. Is Russell Wilson washed? Type Y for yes or type N for no down in the comments section. Go down, let me know. It's a little bit early for me to say, so I'm gonna hold off my opinion on this. But man, Russell Wilson does not look good, and the Denver Broncos giving him that ridiculous contract before he even plays a snap for them is crazy. And yeah, I get it. I mean, he's going to be a free agent in 2 years, but like if he's going to be a free agent next year, I would understand extending him. But that extension, might be one of the worst contracts in NFL history if Russ continues to play like this. Guys, again, go down and subscribe to the channel. We're getting you guys a Panthers hot board later today. I think D'Amico Ryan's going to be on that list. Probably Dan Quinn as well. Some interesting names to monitor over there in Carolina as Steve Wilks takes over as the interim head coach after Matt Rhule has been fired.